Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
Calling to order the Laredo Convention and Visitor Bureau Advisory Committee meeting. We begin with our roll call. Raymond Camina,
Present.
Elizabeth Flores, Judith Gutierrez,
Present.
Bethany Luna,
She's on her way.
Janie Martinez, Marisa Ramirez, present, Alejandro Villarreal.
Present.
Okay.
So are we keeping up with the absences?
Monica has that information for the, actually this, that's the absences sheet.
So
So we have a
today,
record of.
today we have no motion to excuse any members.
Nobody called to be excused?
No, Bethany texted me that she's on her way,
Oh, okay.
but no other member called.
Everyone else confirmed attendance. Everybody confirmed attendance.
Mm-hmm.
All
We have,
main members.
Ms. Flores and Ms. Martinez, they confirmed that they would be here, so.
Okay. Moving over to a motion for the approval of the minutes for the March 14th.
I would move that we would approve the minutes as submitted if there are no corrections, deletions, or additions.
I'll second it.
Camina, okay. Do we have any, we move to approve the minutes?
Yes, another motion. Call for the motion.
Call for motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So they're approved.
Yeah, for-
The minutes are approved for the March 14th, 2019 meeting. Do we have any public comments today? No. Okay. We will now review the year-to-date financial statements, which is on page 4.
Madam Chair, due to the being in the middle of budget, finance wasn't able to get us a regular report, but we do have the tax collections on page 4, as you mentioned.
What are we doing with those? Just by seeing this, it seems like.
We've been doing that. And we've seen the occupancy, which is reflected in tax collections, consistently going up. We see an increment of between 1% and 2% between 2017 and 2018, the same quarter. And so we just went, and I'll report about that on my report, but we just came back from Monterrey, so we presented a lot of those numbers. And so we consistently see an increment of those in our occupancy.
Why would the December
Be so low.
numbers be lower than last year's? Is there any reason for that? Was there a...
Remember, this is the previous one, right, Ma? December is November?
Right, so the occupancy that was collected in December, the hoteliers usually don't go pay the city until January.
No.
So it's on a
So
month delay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
They're a month behind, so what you see for December is November, what you see for January is actually December.
So December, it was actually November that, well,
That's
and
why
it was,
it's
and it was
over.
right, and it's almost in the, it reflects a bit more.
Yeah. So January is usually a slower month than December, but January is still good because we have WBCA. February is good because we have WBCA. But definitely this December was.
So Washington celebration would be reflected in March.
Exactly.
Okay.
In February and March because of but most of the events that bring a lot of people are in February, so yes, in March.
Okay.
Okay.
And let the record reflect that Ms. Bethany
Bethany
Luna.
Luna is present.
Oh, thank you. Please
Thank
excuse
you.
me. Good night. And I spoke with Janie, with Miss Janie. She got called to work, so she has to be excused.
Okay.
So then we go back to the roll call, right?
Okay, the roll call under motion to excuse members' absences. Ms. Janie Martinez.
I would like to move that we excuse Jamie Martinez based on what Bethany's telling us.
Second motion. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we,
Any other questions on the collection of the occupancy taxes or any other issues to bring up? Moving on to the March activity reports, the director, Eileen Ramos, is going to give her director's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My report is on page 5, and there's just a couple of things I wanted to highlight. We are working with a market research and agency called Mind Ecology for Mind Ecology.
Mindy?
Mind Ecology.
Ecology, okay.
And so what they do basically is they do data mining. The way it works is, for the longest time, we get the question, who comes to Laredo? How many people come from Mexico? How do you know you're marketing to the right people? How many people come from the US, and how do you know you're marketing to the right location? And so we know based on an experience, but we want to have the data to back up and tell us we're going the right way or not, right? So we decided to, and we've been trying to do market research for quite a while, and we finally were able to contract with this company called Mind Ecology. Now, the next step is getting the buy-in from all the hotels, because the data that's being analyzed is from the hotels. So we already met with a couple of hotels that attended our presentation, and we're going to be visiting with the rest of the hotels because we believe that this is something really important. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing in terms of marketing to the right people, making sure that our dollars are spent in the most effective way. And this is also, the results of this study are going to be shared with the hotels. So the same information that we have, the hotels are going to be able to have that information in order to also make decisions on their sales and their strategy for marketing and general sales. And so this is an information that is not only going to be for us and saying, okay, now we can do our marketing, but the results are going to be shared with all the hotels that participate in the market study, the market study. And so we're going to continue working with meeting with different hotels, meeting with different attractions in order to get those numbers. And at the end of the day, the result is we're going to get a study that shows us the personas, or the type of people that come to Laredo from both Mexico and the US. And from there we can even go deeper on what they're looking for, what they see, and where they are located, and how they make their decisions in terms of vacations and getaways.
How does the hotel help you with zip codes or
They provide information. It's zip codes, I believe.
phone numbers or?
No, zip code,
Area
city,
codes?
and yeah, it's information. They don't ask for names. They don't ask for a credit card. They don't ask for anything that's sensitive. They provided to the hotels that attended that meeting. They gave them an example of what Cedar Park is now doing. They're based out of Boston, and so they asked for information that allows them to identify the customer, but nothing sensitive.
So if you get a lot of people accumulating, say from Corpus, there'll be more emphasis on Corpus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which right now we know that people come from, as an example, from Corpus, and we know people come from Monterrey, right? We see the license plates, but we want to have the data
To back you up.
to back it up, so that we can say whenever council, whenever anybody
You can
asks
justify
us, hey, why are you spending money in Monterrey? We can go back and say, because we have the data that shows that we have this amount of people coming from Monterrey, that they spend money here, that they stay for an average of 5, 6, 7 nights. Well, hopefully they do at least during the holidays, or they stay for the weekend and they like to shop. So we have more data to back up what we do in terms of marketing. And it's not just, our experience, but it's the data that backs it up.
So how do they collect the data? Do they do actual surveys? Do they have a survey?
No, they go to the hotel, so that's why we need to get the buy-in from the hotels.
So the hotels are the ones that are giving you the information?
Correct, they're giving it to the agency. We're not gonna touch that data. It's gonna go from the hotel to the agency. The agency has systems implemented. They've been doing this for several years, and they have several destinations in Texas that have already done this market study.
So it works?
It works, yes.
It can also work the other way around, where you could say, well, we get so many customers from Corpus, Austin, Houston, we don't get anybody from El Paso.
Exactly.
Maybe we could justify with a little advertisement there.
Mhm.
So that's where we get these people.
And they can show us, okay, the person that's more prone to come to Laredo is the winter Texan, the retiree, or the business traveler, so they're gonna give us that breakdown. And the next phase is having that deeper information of when they're coming. So there's a lot of phases, but in the first phase, we wanna identify the personas.
That'd also help you, like if you identify winter Texans, you can also advertise in some of the publications that are
Exactly.
emphasized on.
Exactly. And
Wow, it's gonna help you in a lot of different ways.
it can help us confirm what we're doing, or even say, we're not in the right publication, let's move to a different one. So we think that it's gonna be very beneficial. They already do it with several Texas destinations, and I was talking to them, to Darren Druids, who came down to Laredo, and he was explaining to me all the different phases, because I was like, I wanna know more about this and that. He's like, we can do it, we can go as deep as you need. The first phase is the persona, but then we can go.
What type of?
Traveler.
Traveler comes
Uh-huh.
and what are they?
What are they looking for? So they create this like profile of the traveler that comes to Laredo, and how to attract that traveler. The different types of, that's what they call the personas. It's they identify the different types of traveler that come to Laredo. For example, from Mexico, they say, well, as an example, it's a family, they come, they drive, they're middle class, they spend approximately 1 or 2 nights. So they give us that profile, and they tell us that person reads these newspapers, they read these magazines, they get their news from their device. So they go that deep to say, this is what they like, this is where they get their information.
It all goes back, the more information the hotels give you, the stronger your.
Exactly. We need at least 10 hotels that can provide the information to have a
More accurate.
more accurate. We already have 2, and we'll continue meeting with different.
You have to.
So far, we have 2. We're gonna start
I
meeting
mean, it's
with.
to their benefit, I mean, I would
Yes.
think, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll, for the ones that couldn't make it to the meeting, we're gonna meet with each one, so you'll receive a call from us very soon.
I have a question. So they're only gonna target leisure travelers?
No, they're gonna target all the
All
travel.
market segments?
All market.
Yes.
All market segments, and, I'm sorry, I was waiting till you finished to ask my question.
Mhm.
I think the other one had just slipped my mind. The historical data, are they going back, how far?
2 years.
2 years?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, well, we're ready, that's good news.
And again, we are gonna share the results with every hotel that participated, so that you can also make decisions based on that.
I love how it's
Information.
gonna work both ways,
Uh-huh.
to know where our strengths and,
And weaknesses are.
yeah, where it needs work, where our
Exactly.
strengths are.
Where the
That's where it
potential
goes
is
on.
also.
Perfect. Let's do it.
It goes down the line, magazines, billboards. everything.
Exactly, everything.
Digital.
Digital.
Digital,
Mhm.
Facebook.
Good.
Thank you.
Facebook. Is that what you said?
And that's a good segue, because Ana Reina and I, together with one of the co-city managers and a couple of partners, we went to Monterrey. We just came back last night, and you can see our faces. We came back last night. But a lot of the media that we saw, and we saw more media than we've ever seen.
Yes.
A lot of the media, especially radio, we were doing radio interviews and Facebook Live at the same time. almost every radio that we interviewed
live
that we
stream?
did, they were live streaming on Facebook.
Radio and television, multimedios and the other.
So even we did a couple of radio interviews there at the venue at the press conference, and then we went to do one at their radio station, and they had all the equipment, and they were also live streaming on Facebook while we were doing the.
Well, radio is still a very, that in Mexico.
It's.
I mean, it's just what they used to,
Mhm.
to advertise and do all of that,
Yeah.
But radio is very popular.
It's very popular.
You
your
you
car.
want to know that
Expensive.
everybody's got their radio on.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got their door closed. I mean, it's like nobody can, we don't do radio.
Like
Yeah.
radio is a lot less expensive, it's not one of your top dollar.
Exactly.
For.
So
We do.
in the past, we
Yeah.
haven't done as much radio, and we're starting to do more radio now. And so we got at least 3 or 4 radio stations there at the press conference. But it caught my attention that every time they would say, "Oh, an interview for radio," they would put the camera, and I was like,
What?
they were all, yeah, they were all, yeah, their cell phone,
That's
right?
fun, no cameras.
They were all live streaming to Facebook.
That happened
Seems
to
like
me
the
once.
thing right now.
I was going to a radio station, so I wouldn't like get so much because it's
Now
radio.
you have.
And it was when I had my boot and I was walking and I spilled coffee,
Oh
so
my God.
half of the side was and I was like singing like this. I get there and there's a Facebook live. I was like, oh.
Oh, God.
So yeah, a lot of those. So we had a good, very good turnout at the press conference. We're very, very happy about the
good.
turnout of the results of the.
Well, the assistant city manager, you said.
One of the co-city managers, Rosario, she
Yeah, well,
traveled with
it's good
us.
that they're doing that because I think it's for them to know and get more information as to what
Mhm.
is going on, in each department and especially
Exactly.
as it affects the city, with
Mhm.
regard to tourism and
Yeah.
people that are coming to stay at our hotels and motels and, the money that they're spending. And it's-
And we had a chance to see the competition. We had a chance to go see a couple of malls. We just toured very quickly, but they are opening a lot of malls in the Monterrey area with the stores that we have here. And so for us, it's very important to keep an eye on the competition. They just opened a mall. It has Cheesecake Factory, it has Victoria's Secret, it has
Or maybe.
Old Navy, and so it is, the prices are considerably higher. We were calculating that
Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret was like $20 more for the same item. But we definitely need to keep an eye on our competition and make sure that we're.
Do you know
Yeah.
who the owners are of that?
It's
mall?
different
They're
people.
different.
Yeah, the different malls are popping up, and they're high-end malls. They're really nice.
But like the investors are like from Mexico?
Yeah.
Yes.
Monterrey, there's a lot of money.
Everyone's
There's a
trying to pick
lot
up
Oh,
of.
my God, they say there's a millionaire in every single block and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, just driving in,
Yeah, you
the
see all the
airport, I
cars.
mean, you see all their
Mhm. But
private
they're definitely.
aircraft.
Yeah, they have, they're building some really, really nice high-end malls in Monterrey.
That's more competition than.
Yeah, I was
before
at
they
a
even
mall
get
in
to
South
be
Deer.
here.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful mall in South Deal,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yes,
I
so
mean,
we had a chance to tour some of those, just to give an idea of what we're competing against. Because we're competing not only against the destinations, but also the shopping opportunities available in their city.
You know that it's, they're making it harder for Mexicans to come to the US. It's, it's just logical that they, or natural that they would do that to capture the market because things are getting difficult in that area, so.
So we're glad that we had a good response from travel agents this year. We usually invite travel agents, media, and this year we added the influencers, which is a completely different
Market.
realm. It's influencers are now where younger generations get their information from, make decisions based on what another person that went to the location or experience or thinks about that location says. And so we had a few influencers there at the event that have been to Laredo. We had travel agencies that do all their business through Facebook,
They don't have
They don't have an office.
nothing. They sell all the travels through Facebook.
and they actually already bring a lot of trips to Laredo. And so we've been identifying different sources and different potential customers, not only the same travel.
That's where the
agencies,
future is, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
Advertising is at a different level than it was,
Before.
let's say, 10 years ago.
And so one of the things that we also did is meet with different media and make sure that we're using all of those opportunities, because now all the media has not only, for example, El Norte, we met with El Norte, we toured their offices, and they don't only have print and electronic, which is what we usually do. Now they have live streaming, now they have video, now they have all the different things. And so we're making sure that we have all that in our toolbox, and that we're utilizing all their channels of communication, not only the traditional ones.
Yeah, because you're trying to hit different demographics, different
Exactly.
generations, different age groups. I mean, the older population, maybe be listening to radio. I mean, because this technology sometimes,
Yeah.
people just not into it or they don't have access to it.
Exactly, some people prefer to read the newspaper.
I remember a while back, maybe about 2-3 years ago, you were all discussing about a video you were making about Laredo.
Yes, we have for the Mexican market, we have a couple of
Could that
videos.
video also be streamlined, or?
Yes, so we have a couple of 30-second videos those are the ones that we use for TV in Mexico. So those can be uploaded. Do we have them on our YouTube channel? They're already in the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And,
I think we have only one.
okay.
No.
We're about to get a new one, so we can
Mhm.
definitely upload that one
Yeah.
to our YouTube channel. And we are, as part of our rebranding, and so, segue to a different topic, but it's a good segue. We're doing our rebranding, as you know, for the US market. And we just finalized the selection, and we're about to announce the agency that we're gonna work with. But part of what we want to achieve is a new destination video. Because we have one for meetings, we have one for port, but we want one for leisure. And now when we're doing the rebranding, we included that in the scope of work.
Great.
Good.
Very good. Eileen, the next page is the hotel occupancy.
It's part of my report, just to give you an idea. This is something this is a report that we purchase and we get every month. It's a benchmark, it's a sample, it's not our whole market because not all hotels provide the information. But what we do is we pick several hotels from each zone. You see zone 1 is downtown, mall, loop, 35. And we compare their occupancy to the ones from our competition. So we've been consistently in the 60s and 70s for the last almost year and a half or 2 years. And you can see that comparison to McAllen, to Mission Far, all the other destinations that we see, including Corpus, that we see as competition. And this report we just changed the report recently to get more information, and they didn't send us January on time, so we put together January and February. But we usually get it on a monthly basis. And now we're gonna go into more detail with them, so we're gonna choose a few dates, like for example, WBCA, to see more detail how it behaves, how the occupancy behaves during that time of the year, during, for example, sister cities, to really see and identify how our occupancy is being affected by those
Year to
specific.
year also, right?
Exactly, by those specific events.
Very good. Anybody have any questions or anything, comments? Okay, moving to the sales manager's report, Joel Vasquez, on page 7.
One, Madam Chair. Just two things that I kind of wanted to highlight in this one was that we had the Texas and Mexico Binational Bridges and Border Crossing meeting there at La Posada was a very successful event. Being that we had about a month and a half to, they actually were looking into New Mexico, Las Cruces, and they decided to bring it to Texas, and we were selected as one of the whole city. So we managed to do it. It was a 2-day event, but it was really good having most of the people from state, national, and from Mexico as well, from the governor's office, from state, national, and even from Mexico, and federal. So, so we had a great turnout for people. They really enjoyed it, the welcome reception, everything we did. So that's one of the things I wanted to highlight, and we're finalizing everything for the South Texas Amateur Boxing Regional Tournament. It's going to be the last weekend of April. So we expect, we're finalizing everything from the judges, everything that we need to do for that, and the officials. So, bless you. So we pretty much have everything for that event as well. And then, like I mentioned, on June, we're going to be hosting the state. So once we finish with this, we're already going to start working for the state tournament for the boxing as well. So that's basically, those are the two things I kind of wanted to highlight. I'm not sure if you guys have any questions regarding my report.
Any questions? We're good?
Quick question, we were talking about the videos, do you also have a video to show just like the sports related items?
On the
Yes.
sports, no, we don't have the video that we have, that we did, it's a meetings video, but it kind of highlights a little bit of everything, because it highlights the stadium, it highlights some of the facilities, hotels, the airport, the golf courses. So it's a general video that highlights everything. Obviously, that's the goal, that once right now, the things that we have going on is the project is the sports complex. So once that gets finalized and actually construction of that, then obviously we'll do a video of that, because that's gonna be a good selling point.
Yeah.
Once, with the convention center, with all those projects that we have, the auditorium with the school district. So all those facilities that eventually will come up, that's when we start doing that, and that will be a good selling point to put it on Facebook, social media, and when we go to different shows, give it to the tournament directors or meeting planners, so that we get, now it's everything video.
I know, because when you go to say, try to get another event,
Yeah.
you show them that, they go,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that'd be impressive, because not only you can talk about, you can visually show all the events you've done the last couple of years, which
Yeah.
have all been great successes.
Yeah,
And I would say, hey, we are looking to Laredo.
yeah.
And that's been a great tool for us for example, for meetings and leisure. Having those videos has been
Yeah.
a great tool.
I know they're very expensive to make, but maybe you also can make some in-house, or, subdivide it, maybe, obviously it'd be expensive, but like in quarters where someone calls, or you're gonna send them a video, you can send them something that goes on January, February, and March, if they're gonna be coming those 3 months.
Or like a seasonal type?
Right,
or-
because it's gonna have a lot of stuff, but they're gonna come in February, they're not gonna be able to go to Sister City, or,
Right.
I know it's expensive, but that'd be something you think of in the future,
Yeah.
divide into 2, divide into 4, 3.
Well, actually, one of the things that we talked to the media in Mexico was doing some videos, because they showed us a really nice, it was longer, but it was a really nice video. And so we spoke to one of the media outlets there in Mexico to see if it would be a little bit more affordable to
Yeah.
have them, because we already have a lot of B-roll. And so,
Yeah, like if someone calls, I'm planning to go to Laredo in February, you can send them a little video of all the stuff that's gonna go on in February.
sure, yeah.
Wow, I may be able to attend those. If they see Sister City, they're gonna come in February, it's not gonna really benefit them.
Yeah.
Sure, and
You know.
people wanna know what's going on when they're here. I mean, what's there to do? So,
Yeah.
you do that, then you,
it could be like little capsules, not
Right.
necessarily, but
Not necessarily a production, but somebody maybe in-house or something, because I mean, just based on Facebook and Instagram, y'all do such a good job, you
We all
know?
have to come out on the videos.
I know, right?
yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Because
Action,
Yes.
really good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely, we can definitely look into
Yeah,
that.
we did photo shoots in La Posada and Embassy a while back, and
We used to
yeah.
be models, but
Yeah.
then,
But I finally retired my.
yeah, we were.
and then always pictures.
Yeah.
And our girlfriends.
Yeah. Come out in the visitor guide. They'll go, so like, man, different photos. Yeah. it's crazy.
He's
People
all
would see
over.
me, I'm like, hey, I've seen you. I was like, oh, really?
Where?
Yeah.
And sometimes with 2-3 girls.
Oh my God.
He had different
It's
wives
lucky
and
your
things.
neighborhood.
I know,
Oh my gosh, that's too good.
right? Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for the sales manager's report? Well, thank you very much. We'll move over to page 8, which is the services coordinator report by Veronica Gamboa.
Good morning, everybody. My report's on page 8. Well, of course, we came back in March and continued working with Washington DC's legislative trip and finalized everything. We also, at the same time, and I forgot to put it in, we had the Realtors Conference, so I had some staff support me back home and continue it, because it was the 7th through the 8th. So we had 140 attendees for the conference, and they were very gracious. They did send us a thank you letter for all CVB staff for all of the work that we have done with them and in planning the event to the date that they were here. They hosted at La Posada, and they had a lot of fun, and they were very happy to be in Laredo, and of course by coming back hopefully in a couple of years.
Very good.
I don't know if you have any other questions. I just will let you know that destination training will be changed for April 16th. That'll be a Tuesday. I have a group about 30 people.
The 16th, not the 18th.
Not the 18th, it'll be the 16th. They'll have 30 people already signed up, a combination with some students from LCC and hoteliers. So, and also the Caminarte, I spoke to Rosie, and they're not available for us on April 5th, so they'll be doing it April 12th, next Friday. We have a lot of events coming, we're planning to make it bigger and better, and also tying it up with an opening of an exhibit. So that's where we'll be changing the dates. Usually I think it's gonna work for her better the second Friday of each month. So that's our updates for Caminarte and destination training. So I don't know if you have any other questions on my report.
Okay. Veronica, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving over to the U.S. and Mexico marketing report, which
Selena from here,
Selina's here.
so I'll be happy to report, to speak on her report. Selena right now, as a matter of fact, she's with a travel writer. She's touring a travel writer that came to Laredo. This is the second one this year, one of 3 at least that we're gonna have in the first half of the year. And this travel writer came through the Office of the Governor and also Texas Birding. So they come here and write about the food, the ecotourism and the different activities. They're here. He's here for 2 days, Mr. Barry Cooper, and he's also being taken to do some birding to the golf course and to Lake Casablanca as part of his trip. So we'll be meeting with him this afternoon. Selena and Vero met with him yesterday, and so it's part of our initiative of hosting travel writers, so we can get more exposure, not only with the ads but also with stories on them.
yeah, they're really important people.
Mhm.
They're
Just to add on that, last night, he is from England, so he is actually going to promote Texas as a birding destination in Europe and the whole, and especially in England, because what happens that they usually go to Florida to bird. But he's doing this tour to come to promote Texas as a whole. So he's actually gonna do or trying to bring groups to Texas and do 3 or 2 cities along the way that he has come and experienced. So hopefully Laredo is one of them.
Well, it's good Laredo has a lot of birding, I mean, the species that are here.
The bird count has grown, so he's doing that right now, especially with the red
Red-billed
there you go.
Red-billed pigeon.
Pigeon, that's
A red-billed
Red-billed pigeon. It's
That's in
actually
the max.
the max.
Yeah.
They
One
have-
of their, they found the habitat and at the max. where the area and the plants and everything that's around there is
Attracts.
conducive
To them,
to them
there.
being happy.
And then keep colors in.
According to Dennis, he says that he just gets all the pigeons and puts red on it, but he's
Different
just-
colors.
He's trying to yeah, green.
With the colors.
Yeah, so then it was-
they put their beads in
Yeah, but
it.
Oh my
he's
God.
trying to create more species of those, but he's just jokester. But that's one of the sites that they've come, and he's a very interesting man. He's an astronomer, a writer, and he also is a soccer player. So we had a long conversation
Wow.
last night. Yes, he's and a photographer as well. So he's very versed. And hopefully he comes and brings a large group. And I think he's a very influencer in his hometown to bring birders into Texas.
Oh, good.
I don't know if you have any,
We're gonna have more. Yeah, more people who are interested in birding.
Yeah.
You know how they're trying to keep it kind of like together, like a small
Yeah, those
group.
are the key.
More.
They don't want to let out the secret.
I know, right? Don't let anybody know.
They don't.
They don't.
They want to keep it.
the birding
Here.
festival is not that they necessarily want to keep the festival small.
Okay.
It's just they want to keep it to a size where they can manage it.
Manage it.
Yeah. And they want to differentiate themselves from other festivals like the ones in the valley where you get on a bus and it's just a
Like
bunch
a
of
massive,
people.
yeah.
Here you get in a van with a guide, and so you have this subject matter expert talking to you one-on-one. And so that's the experience that they want to provide to them, to the birder.
We have a high-end
Yeah,
boutique
that's
type.
Really?
The boutique
That has grown
The
from
boutique. It's a good word.
Any questions on the next page, on page 10, the media bias? Any comments or questions on that report?
And this is what we did in the month of March. We're making some changes so that we can also show a little bit more detail in terms of what type of ad and what information we provide. But in this case, you can see that already with the market and the size and what type of publications.
Any questions? Moving right over to page 11, the digital marketing coordinator's report on ASAP.
Hey, good morning. My report is in page 11, and the report for the social media is in page 12. Also, we have the report for the Google Analytics from the website. I'm working and for the press conference in Monterrey, and also we review all the media buys to have more impact in the US and Mexico market. So I am working with Beatriz to do more giveaways on social media. We have 2 Photoshop sessions for this coming week. So we have more ads and more photos to have more material for ads.
Keeping our content fresh.
Yes.
Yes, we have more options than nightlife, restaurants, dining, family fun. So that's very difficult to select the spaces and the people. But we need fresh.
Anna, thank you so much. Moving over to the Monterrey.
Yes. We have on page 14, most of March they were working together with Ana Reina preparing the press conference for this last couple of days. And, but they also participated in the trade show called Zona Híbrida. And this is focused, the target market for that event is gamers. And we know that for gaming you need a lot of equipment. And we want all the Monterrey gamers to think Laredo first when they think of where to get all their gadgets. And so we're participating with Zona Híbrida to promote Laredo. We're also doing, as part of our Semana Santa efforts, there's an event going on in Monterrey called San Pedro de Pinta. And so our office is located in San Pedro Garza Garcia. So think of Monterrey as a metroplex. Monterrey proper has all these cities around that you don't even notice when you go one
Like in
one to
San
the other.
Antonio, you
Like,
go, you know.
You don't even know if you're in Leon Valley or in Animal Heights. And so that's how Monterrey is. And so San Pedro, they have a large avenue, and during the week, on Sunday, they close it so that people can bike, can run, can take their pets, and they have different activities, they have different dynamics, and for people to interact. And so we're gonna be in San Pedro de Pinta for the next
This Sunday.
this Sunday. The next Sunday, we're gonna have, we have a kiosk that's in the shape of Texas. And so in that kiosk, people can go and plan their trip, they can get information, they can learn a little bit more about Laredo. We're gonna have some activities for families, and we're gonna provide information just to keep ourselves top of mind with the Monterrey market for the Semana Santa. So,
And hopefully that the bridges, how all the issues about closing or not closing.
Yeah.
the bridges
we
don't
had
have
a
any
lot of
other
questions
stuff.
yesterday about that.
Everybody wants to know what's
Yes.
gonna
So what is
happen.
gonna happen?
Everybody wants to know if
They're not gonna close
if
it.
the bridges were gonna close. They kept asking
That
us
would
even
cost a
that,
lot
even
of
on the, even when we would gas up, because we had the big Laredo, Texas hammer. So
Well,
they
I think
would
that,
ask
I think that on this one at least, that the senators are getting involved. I know that Mitch McConnell and the president are out at this, and they will fight it. I mean, this is really a very, very big economic
Yeah.
impact.
On both sides.
On
Yes.
both sides, I mean, it
Both
would
sides.
kill,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
It will be.
Yeah, so definitely Mexico, that was a topic of conversation in the media, and we got several of those questions additional to our regular
And what
leisure.
can you say? I mean, you're only guessing when you say no. I mean, it's like,
No, it's-
I don't think, it's a possibility, but I don't think, I really.
And now he's pretty much retracted it.
They're saying they're only partially closed, like they're
You
just
don't know,
limiting
I
the
mean,
number
it's
of
just like-
lanes.
But that is not because of closing, it's the partial, the
Because they
limitation,
moved-
it's because they moved several CDP elements to other,
Oh, they don't have any approval to Mandeville.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're doing a
It's
partial
manpower
closing,
that they
it's
don't.
because they moved
Personnel.
personnel to other
To other
borders.
Yeah.
And so they have the ones that they can open with the personnel that they currently have. So,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and I think, those of us that live on the border, and, if hear all of these things that are going on up there in Washington, that's just not true. I mean, it's not the way it is when you come down to seeing the real thing, the way things operate on the border. I mean, it's crazy, for people to just say, oh, I'm gonna close the border. But that's very easy, it's very easy to say, but gee whiz, look at the implications. I mean, words do matter, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially with that kind
Right, how many things they said, he didn't come through with it.
Thank God, let me tell you.
Things, diversion or just.
Possible, not probable.
Very good.
Okay, now moving over to other reports. Do we have any other reports?
Yes, it's a separate,
Separate sheet, these are inquiry reports for this month. You can see on top is by country, we always have Canada and the US. Obviously, we see it because of the weather changing, so we don't have a lot of the people that come from Europe or any other, inquiring this.
and this doesn't include Mexico, this is for
For-
our US lead generating
Yes.
application.
Publication. Yes, so it's our publications that have, that require that information, the little tap that you take off, reader response. So then you see the country, and then you see by top city, of course, Texas is one of the top ones, but you can see along the lines where Florida, California, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, so on and so forth.
The number to the side of the state, that's the inquiries that you got from the
Mhm.
Wow, that's a lot. And these are all through electronically or email?
No, they're,
Reader response. When you get a magazine, You have to fill out the little tab, that's how it.
And they do that?
They do.
Yes, they do.
We get them. Yes, I'm so amazed.
Wow.
We're still, we're very amazed how the fact that we still get, an average about maybe 1,500, even in the slow peaks, and then about 4,000 in a higher end. So that's what we're.
People are paying attention, I guess, to these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, this shows that there's still people that read the magazine and go through it.
I'm
and-
telling you, the radio, the
Yeah.
magazine, the print,
Yeah.
I mean.
No media is dead. It's just different generations, different markets.
Is there some publications that do better than others, or?
Yes, we have, and we can run.
And that's
a report.
also justification, also
Exactly.
to have proof or visual, or I don't know what you call it, but
Exactly why this publication does better. Well,
in case you get asked why you putting ads in this magazine, well, I
Exactly.
got all this information.
Yes.
And with the market research, we can go even further and say, why do you advertise there? Not only because we get the leads, but because our market, our persona that's coming to Laredo reads that magazine, and that kind of justifies the whole.
Are any of these from Mexico, the magazines?
No, the magazines, Mexico doesn't have that type of
That type.
system.
Okay.
This is only for the US and Canada.
In regards to these numbers and the inquiries, is there a way to track inquiries converted
Converted?
into,
We've been trying, we have
I'm sure it's difficult,
Yes,
but.
yes. We've been trying to figure that out. One of the ideas that we haven't finished that project, but one of the ideas is doing a survey, and we need to follow up on that. We kind of left that project to the side, but we're planning a survey to see if those people that are asking for information
How
are
many
actually
actually come?
coming. Yes.
Is one of the questions, are you planning to visit Laredo in the near future?
In
or-
the next 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 to 12.
That's that would be interesting to follow up with that, because then you have,
More
those
leads.
numbers, you really translate them to visitors, I mean, to
Yes.
people that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, surveys are a double-edged sword, as far as feedback, but also just sometimes people don't take the time to fill them. I used to be real bad about, whatever, it doesn't matter, but we got, several years back with funeral home stuff, we started doing surveys, and it's good feedback, but
Yeah.
it's just tough to get,
And
10,
usually,
12 people here, yeah, we can all do it, but there's 100,000 people we're trying to market to get.
and usually
get
you
your
get
attention.
either the very, very good ones or the very, very
Very
bad ones,
bad,
right?
yeah.
Because if you're in between, you don't fill out the survey, but if you got a really, really good experience,
Right.
you want to let them know. And if you got a really, really bad experience, you want to let them know. So that's also tricky. But no, we want to try to at least see how it works. And it's a project that we've had for quite a while, but we need to.
It's really
Getting there.
interesting.
Yeah, we're getting there, you're right.
We need to bring it back to
To life.
life, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
really
put it-
interesting is that we have Michigan and New Jersey. Those are completely on the opposite end of us.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they're so far yet.
Remember
they're
Winter
in-
Texans,
Yes.
inverters,
Yeah.
so,
And I wonder if they would be, I mean, what their nationalities would be. Are they people, Hispanic people, or they're, what other nationalities?
Yeah.
Michigan.
That would be interesting too.
It's good information. Any other comments, questions? Anything that we need to discuss or any announcements that we need to make?
Mr. Camina,
Oh,
do you want to?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
I thought I was telling you earlier that we've always been asked about Laredo souvenirs at our store. And a lot of customers would come in and first thing what they would ask us is, do you have Laredo postcards? And I would say, sorry, we don't. They just turn around and walk out. And after a while, a pattern, I realized we might be missing out on a little bit of income, sales. So I started, with a couple of postcards, designing a postcard, because nobody sells a Laredo postcard. If they do, it says Texas and it's Blue Bond, it's in the Alamo. And so, design one where it might reflect some of the stuff they might have visited. And besides that, also Webb County Heritage Foundation has postcards. But I wanted to have one that represented, my store in Laredo. And they would ask us for shot glasses, keychains, magnets. So we started little by little. And of course, we try to make them a little more artisan looking, not so generic looking where you can get them online and just have your name put on. Also reflects a little bit of Mexico. And now that when they come in, do you have postcards? Yes. They buy the postcard, they stay in the store and buy a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
And
You said you put these together?
Uh-huh.
Like you took the pictures and everything?
well, I had someone take the pictures for me.
Cool.
Yeah. And I had showed it to Placita a year ago, and she gave us permission to put the your website behind it.
Yeah.
So it'll help out.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if anyone will be mailed, they want to keep them
Right.
for themselves. There's a lot of collectors that just want a postcard
Yeah.
from where they visited, same thing like a magnet or a keychain.
And we'll be happy to send you some. We have we commissioned with a local artist 2 different postcards. So we'll be happy to
Oh,
send
great.
you.
I mean, we just try to put a little of everything, what's with their experience, you know, pan dulce, you know, the LEA and, you know, hunting or something.
Same arena.
And of course, same thing with shot glasses. I like to collect shot glasses, not necessarily drink, but they want a shot glass. Same thing with a magnet. And like I said, we try to make them more artisan looking.
These are really
Are these samples for us or?
They're for
Sure, the prices in the back.
And the price point, we try to keep them all $1.99, $2.99, $3.99. And by keeping the price point low,
Sure.
because obviously they don't want to buy one, they want to buy like 5 or 6, their aunt, their mother, you know.
Right.
So,
Well, you have the price tag, 1 is this, and then if you buy 5, then.
be surprised that some of the customers just don't buy 1, they buy 10.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're going to give a magnet to each one of their co-workers or a relative.
Well, the thing is that, you know, whenever you're traveling, you want to take something back to your coworkers, like you said, or people that you know. It's like, okay, what do I get? And then you get the same thing for everybody, which is nice. So you just go and you
These
buy.
magnets are real nice too.
These are really cute.
Yeah,
And they'll have different colors in the background.
those are my favorite.
Different colors.
I think this arrows are kind of
I know.
Yeah, really,
This
really
is your
nice.
city's one.
Super nice. Very nice souvenirs.
The ashtrays are out of, yeah.
Well, we still have a few that want an ashtray.
Nobody
Still
smokes
want
anymore.
them.
Let me see the picture. Let me see it.
There's still a few people that like.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, like I was
It's like
telling.
a jewelry tray. You can put your.
Well, they take
Like I was saying,
it.
like I was saying, most of the shot glass collectors don't even drink.
Right.
They just want to collect them.
Decoration.
Yeah. Take to their coworkers or their friends.
What about mugs? Do you have any mugs?
That's our next we're gonna get coffee mugs.
Every
Place
place
you
that
go.
we go, my son wants a mug from everywhere. You should
We
see my
sell
kitchen.
We have mugs.
Oh, really?
I
We
Okay.
have, so we
I
have
use it all the
souvenirs too. We don't open.
Laredo.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't make it down to our office. They're already in the store and that's a plus, so they get more of the goodies. We have souvenirs, so everything that we give to groups that come, we have the mugs, postcards, everything. But we're not open on the weekends, so, and we get those questions. And sometimes what they want, because ours are very like, they have our logo, and so they're looking for more of like the artisan.
The
So
artisan, yeah.
we know Mr. Camina has different souvenirs, so we usually refer them to
Ray,
the
maybe you
store.
could change the pictures so you can have several.
That's my next
And
phase.
you know, because I think that they'll buy more.
Yeah.
More variety, more selection.
variety,
Gotta
more-
take one of each.
And yeah, you say, oh my God, I want this, but I like this, but I like this one and this one, so
Yeah.
Take them all, that's right.
it's just a nice.
Oh, and this is, just had some more brochures printed.
This is super nice.
Would you like a few for the hotel?
Please, yes. Actually, if you have them, they're perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the funeral?
Unfortunately, sometimes we travel when there's a funeral at everyone in Mexico
Yeah.
because somebody had passed, so.
Here
Here you go.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mr. Camina.
Sure, thank
How long
you.
you guys, you've been open for quite some time?
We celebrated 32 years this month.
Wow, congratulations, that's awesome, 32 years.
In the
32 hard
same
years.
location.
Yeah.
The
And
same
I'm sure it
location.
hasn't been easy the whole time, you
No,
Up and
it's changed so
down,
much.
yeah.
When I first started out, all I sold was just baskets, when baskets were real strong in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, there were.
And
That
then
thing-
I started listening to my customers, the same thing on the souvenirs. My customers would ask me, do you have glass? Do you have plaster? Do you have statues? Do you have, and I started thinking, well, maybe I'm missing on some of these items, so I started carrying them. So in 4 years, I was pretty much 98% baskets, 2% curios, and in 4 years,
Turned
it
over.
turned over.
Well,
Because-
especially now with Mexico, that you know, that
Can't even
people
go.
don't wanna go to Mexico.
Yeah,
and
at the same time, baskets were going down because everybody had them.
Right.
Walmart, HEB, before they didn't carry them. And, you know, like, if I hadn't listened to my customers, I would have not have
Gone
survived.
out of business.
And that's why customers have been so important. I listen to them. and
Feedback.
The feedback, and when they say, do you have Laredo Souvenirs? And after a while, I said, wait a minute, I better
Yeah.
jump it. Like I said, I'm not gonna make a lot of money on these. We're making like 10 cents on these.
But it's a hook to
It
get them
hooks,
in.
it hooks.
Yeah.
And they end up buying the postcard, it will walk around the store. Whereas before, I would say, no, we don't have them, okay, thank you, and they'd walk out, because they're on a mission to find the souvenirs, they don't have time to look at that stuff. But once you tell them, you have a postcard in their hand, or shot that, oh, let me look around the store, and that's what.
That's where you get them.
That's where we get them.
That's good.
We're like
Keep 'em in the
the milk and, we're like the milk and bread to HEB.
Yeah.
When you have the milk and bread, you notice the
And
milk.
then you go in,
The
and
bag.
that's it.
Got
You're
it.
done.
Like the whole store.
And then you're like, oh, I'll take this.
Yeah.
It's true, because I usually go to the HEB to get dog food, and then I walk out with a, basket full of groceries. I said, did I just get this?
I think also Walmart, I think Walmart, I imagine a lot of other stores, they don't make much money on toothpaste and shampoo. Nickels,
Everything else is
pennies.
there.
But, I mean, my wife sent me to go get shampoo, and I come back with $30. Why'd you buy that? It's on sale.
Yeah.
My husband does the same thing. It was on sale.
And you go to Walmart, you want to, you go to Walgreens or to CVS.
But then we go
I mean, they
shopping
have
for shoes, we
the
get mad.
two of one regular price, and the other price.
They're on sale.
You want to take advantage of
It's
that.
always like.
I mean, you're always
just
walking
because
out
you
with more
can
than you-
doesn't mean you
Yeah.
have to.
I try to discipline myself, I make a list,
But
and
it's
I try not to
true.
deviate from the list. And if I see
Years
something like,
ago,
ah, it's on the list, I want it. Okay, let's go.
Because I
Let's go.
never
Let's
got
decide.
this.
But it works like
Use this stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Get them on sale.
That's the psychology.
Yeah, my wife just sent me a
Just because it's not a
Yeah.
he from baby, he's
That's
like,
a jerk.
I was like, I work hard, like I want to,
On my shoes.
I want to buy my shoes.
So, long story short, my wife did send me the story.
Yeah, we booked
So we adjourn, so we
like 5
can-
pairs of shoes and I like took pictures.
Yes.
I'm serious.
Sabrina, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
Just trying to make.
Allow me your time.
Are we ready to adjourn the
Motion to-
meeting?
I move to,
Motion to adjourn? Do
I
we
move
have
to, we adjourn.
I'll second.
meeting?
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you
All right.
all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.